Hello, one more time, Miss Donnelly's class. This is going to be a screencast on how to do the annotations for your last day of work with me for your research project. If you would start on Capitol's Library homepage here, and when you focus on the left-hand side, you will see a link that says Citations and Annotations. Click on that. And on this screen, stay focused on the left-hand side, and the second subpage, Annotations How To, is what we need to use today. Now we'll focus in the middle of the page under the So You Need to Write an Annotation. As it says, the purpose of an annotation is to let someone who has read or reviewed your paper or project know more about your sources. It's going to be a small paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences, and written in third person. So that means you don't use I or me anytime during this paragraph. For example, you won't say, I believe this is a credible source. Instead, just say, this is a credible source. And so writing this small paragraph that will be put into Noodletools in just a minute consists of at least the first 5 bullets. Some students choose to do each bullet as its own sentence, but during class I demonstrated how to put the first 3 bullets all into one sentence, and then you would have a second sentence of summary, specifically what you were pulling from the article, and then a sentence that explains how you know your source is credible. Let's go over to Noodletools. We'll come back to this page. Clicking over to Noodletools and opening your project. At this point, you should have 2 sources cited in the Sources button. Although on the dashboard, I would encourage you just to double check that down in the sharing area, it does say that you've shared your project with Donnelly in whatever period you're in. If not, please click on the Share with Project inbox, enter Miss Donnelly's name by last name, and you will have a drop-down for your appropriate period. Once you click on your drop-down, you'll click Done. Then you can jump over to the Sources button. You should have 2 sources so far, unless you've done more work. In this case, I do have 3 different sources I have cited. And looking at my sources, I need to pick one of them that I know I could write a sentence about credibility. How do I know this is a credible, trustworthy source? And I might have to open up these articles again and decide. I'm going to be doing mine on my website. So when I've decided which one I'm going to do, so for this assignment, you only need to annotate one of your sources. And the annotation is going to be added to this citation in just a second by going to Options and Edit, this blue button to the right-hand side. Once I've decided which one I want to do, I can hit Options and Edit. And it takes me back into where we did the original citation work. Scroll down to the bottom of this page, and you will see a section labeled Annotation and an empty box. This is where you will type in your sentences. I'm going to click back over to this page, and first I need to discuss these 3 areas: the type of source, the author's purpose, and the target audience. I have a website, and I believe my author's purpose was to inform people rather than persuade them. And Who is it? It's going to be to the general public. I will go write that sentence. Now that I've hit those three areas, I'm ready to give it a summary sentence. So it says a summary, and what I have at the end of this first sentence seems like it's summary, ways in which cell phones can be beneficial. But the next sentence really needs to be more specific as to what you pulled, the content you pulled from it. So it could be something like, so my article went over 3 key strategies that parents and teachers can use when working with kids and their technology. The last sentence that's necessary, that's required after the summary, is the credibility. The other things listed here are up to you. If you want to include them, you can. You don't have to. But credibility is a must. How do I know I can trust this information? Well, I happen to have cited my EDU source. So I believe that something coming through an EDU website should be more credible, but I think I can give more background than that. So I'm clicking on my article, and oftentimes your author will be hyperlinked, and you can click on the author's name, and it may go to a bio page to give some background information on the author. And so you could pull something from their bio page that you believe helps establish their credibility as a good reporter of this information or researcher for you. Mine is not. The next thing I could do is I could click on the About Us page at the bottom of the website. And there may be something, depending on how large the website is, there may be something that is in their mission statement that would help you establish credibility. My About Us takes me out to an About Us page for the entire website, which this is a university, Concordia University, which is a private Christian college. I don't really feel like I can make just a statement about the faith, a faith-based statement establishing credibility for this article, though. I feel like I need to get something else. So a third thing you could do is Google up your author's name, but include something else with that background information on who this person is, because there could be more than one Seth Miranda's out there, right? So when I did my search, actually going to go back one page. When I did my search and got my results, I put in Seth Miranda and I put in Concordia because that is the institution he's associated with, the website it's coming from. And I can see that under the marketing and communications page, his name is listed, so he must work with them, and that's the start of the web address for the school. So that's good. That legitimizes that connection there. But when I look down at LinkedIn, LinkedIn is really the way people put their resumes out for the world to see. If you're a professional, you have a LinkedIn account and you try to keep that updated. So I can click on his name and I'll be able to see where he's worked in the past, where he's currently working, how long he's been working there, and that should be able to establish certain things about him. So this makes sense. Concordia University, Nebraska. That's what I could see from the page. And he has an MBA, which is a Master's of Business Administration. So he's been through the research process plenty of times. He has 4 years of college plus at least 2 years of graduate school work. And he has a little about statement here. And down I see he's been working for this place for 7 years. So I could pull a number of things, kind of create my own statement about why I believe Seth Miranda would write a good article and give me credible information in this article. And that is what I would need to add as my third sentence in here. Once I have that third sentence done, so for me, I'd be writing a sentence about the fact that he's currently been employed with this job for 7 years and has his MBA. Therefore, one could conclude he understands the research process. That's just a beginning way of stating that this person is credible. So I'd add that last little sentence and hit save. And hit save. And now my annotation shows up as part of my citation in Noodletools. It automatically lines itself up. So you only need to do this for one of your sources for this assignment. In the future, you will have teachers that ask you to annotate all of your sources. You can come back to the library page. I will also point out that, so we're on the annotations how-to page. There's also an IB level annotations page. You'll begin working on that your sophomore year. So your social studies teachers will take you into this page and or have their own handouts that they will give you with the same directions. But just know we'll have the guide here on the library for the IB level annotations as well. The last thing I want to do before I close this screencast is one more thing I talked about at the very end of the period. And that was when I have my work done and I'm ready to have this be actual document, the works cited page, I need to export it out of Noodletools and put it into Google Docs. So right here at the top, I'll click on Print and Export. It will load itself into a works cited page in my drive. And at this point, I would just have it here until I get my paper done for the class. And I would then copy paste this information at the end of my paper, unless my teacher wants it to be its own separate page. And technically in MLA format, it should be its own separate page, but usually teachers don't want you to waste the paper. So if it does go to the end of a regular paper, you would need to change the page number to whatever page number it is by the end. The other issue I see on this right now, unfortunately, since we did copy paste something from a database and it did happen to come over in all bold, I would need to highlight this at this point and make it so that it's not bold. Otherwise, it's great. Okay, well, thank you for your time, and please email me if you have any other questions.